Welcome, heroes, to the greatest drinking competition in the realm. This is our review of Heroes of Barcadia.
Heroes of Barcadia is a dungeon crawler where drinks are players' hit points, and I got really thirsty seeing my player travel through the dungeon.
Is it the most strategic game in the world? No, of course not. But we enjoy any game that incorporates drinking into the mechanics. We'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play. Each player's character is represented by a health bar cup filled with their beverage of choice.
Players flip over tiles, exploring rooms and battling monsters.
When the players battle a monster, they must roll a d20 higher than the monster's threat level.
If they succeed, they gain rewards. But if they lose, they have to drink the hits they take.
Each player is trying to collect 3 power-up cards and locate and defeat the drink horde.
The first player to defeat the drink horde in battle wins the game.
Before you take another sip of your drink, be a real hero and hit that subscribe button for us.
All of your heroic following really helps us out, so thank you again for all your likes and subscriibes.
Like we mentioned in our unboxing video, if you haven't seen that, check out the link in our description below. We've been waiting on this game for a long time. We backed it a long time ago, before we even went to our first Gen Con in 2021. And while we were there, Rollacrit was there and they had the demo version of this. And we're like, oh, when are we gonna get it? And at Origins, we finally got to play it, but we were playing with water. So now we finally got to play it with drinks. And I have to say, it's a lot of fun. It's really simple as you're going around the board. So basically anybody can play it. So it's a dungeon crawler that's easily accessible. However, you need to have a drink next to you while you're playing, because as your drink is moving around, you're just kind of like, oh, I'm thirsty, but I don't want to drink my life away. I gotta have my second drink here. But then when you go to drink, you're like double fisting, so you're like, ah.
When we first saw the demo at Gen Con, like at the merch booth, I was like, man, that's such a tease. I wonder when it's coming out. And it wasn't for another entire year of when we actually saw it, where I was like, oh, we got it? Oh, okay, cool. This is what we've been waiting so long for.
There aren't too much in the way of mechanics. Basically, your cup is your player, so it has all the different characters on it, and they're fun. I like the cup idea, and they all have fun names, like red is Kegger, purple is Intoxica. So they move around the board, they'd be filled with liquid, and they move around the board, and as you get to a tile, you'll flip it over, and whatever the tile is, so I just got a loot card, so I don't even have to battle. I just immediately go there, and I get a loot card. But if I had to battle, I would battle the monster, and this one's a boss, so I choose an opponent, and we both roll. Now, I'm not usually a huge fan of dice rolling games. However, since this is all about drinking, I didn't mind it because it's more of a fun game. You're not really playing this to be like, oh, I won. Yes, there is a winner, but for the most part, it's people hanging out, having a fun time, playing a board game while drinking.
It's very lighthearted, not super serious. Yeah, you're fighting monsters, but the monsters are things like the Blackout Knight, and he's got like Sharpie and stuff drawn all over him, and you know, we've all been there, right? Right.
So aside from the obvious, which are the cups, you immediately see that when you look at the box, you can see comes with cups, you're drinking, those are your character pieces. The rest of the production value is really great too, because everything is made of plastic. The cards are plastic, the tiles are plastic, everything is plastic, so that when the inevitable happens, as you're playing and drinking and someone goes, it doesn't destroy your game. You're still good because everything's plastic. Yes, you still have a mess and a cleanup on your hands, but you know once everything dries, you'll be able to put it all back together. It's not going to destroy the game. You're going to be like, that guy can't ever come back to a party ever again.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you're passing through the dungeon trying to find the drink horde. So let's say someone spills a drink or does something to that like card, you'll know right away. You're like, there's a drink horde right there. And so everyone could beeline towards it. You know, making this plastic, they really thought ahead. I mean, even the rule books is plastic too, but you know, I don't think you'd be reading much of that.
Rulebook, yeah.
Yeah.
So the main goal of the game is collect these 3 power-up cards. You need at least 1, 2, 3 in front of you. And then when you locate the drink horde and you defeat the drink horde, that's how you win. When you're building the tiles, the drink horde could be anywhere and you flip it over, so you never know how long the game could be. If it happens to be right here and you flip it over, oh, it's gonna be a quick game. Well, you still need the power-ups, but it's still gonna be a pretty quick game. However, if it's further out or way off in the distance and never gets flipped over, the game can last a lot longer. Again, you're just playing with friends and drinking, so it doesn't really matter that's gonna take that long.
So when we played this, we actually played with my sister and her husband, and they aren't very big board game people either, so I think this was kind of a nice intro. I was like, oh, it's a dungeon crawler, but you can drink too. And they were like, oh, do we have to like pretend to be the characters? I was like, oh, you could, like, I'm Merlot the Wise, or, you know, the Sorcerer. Sorcerer. I like the artwork, I like the puns and the jokes and everything, the different characters and how they did it, and just the lightheartedness of it. I really did enjoy it. I'll definitely play it again if it's just something light and you don't want to be too serious about anything. So I'll give it a 6.
Overall, this is definitely a lot of fun. It is a very intro game. It's not a super complicated game. You can play with this with just about anybody, even if they've never played a board game before. You can explain, move here, flip, roll die, move here, flip, roll die. So it's just a good party game. Doesn't take too much concentration, but it can be fun. And if you appreciate board games while you're playing, you can appreciate the thought process and the puns and the humor that went into it, even if you're not strategizing too much with it. Overall, I'm gonna give the game a 7, but not because it's a great game, but because it's a great time. The game itself is like a 3 or a 4, but the time that we had playing it was a lot of fun, and I did enjoy everything that went into it, so I'm gonna give it a 7. And that was our review of Heroes of Barcadia.
What'd you think? Are you ready to play this game where drinks are life and life's a drink? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny, and go party like a board gamer.